All right, as Brent explained, IntelliMagic Vision applies built-in ZOS expert knowledge to automatically rate hundreds of key metrics across the thousands of elements that make up your complex ZOS infrastructure. So you can see at a glance what may need attention. A comprehensive examination process that would be far too time-consuming and too tedious to do manually. So here are the exception tables. This is the Windows client version of the interface. There's also a web reporter version. You can use either one. So here is all the exception tables that consolidate all the exceptions that are generated across the various levels of the infrastructure. And so we're going to select here the systems and WLM exception table. It's outlined in red, so we know that there are some exceptions there. So each row in the exception table represents details about an exception, the rating, the severity, a description, and a clickable link to the chart where the exception occurs. So let's click on this first one, which takes us to the virtual storage dashboard. So virtual storage is a good example of the value of the dashboards provided by IntelliMagic Vision. Normally everything's completely fine and there's nothing to be concerned about there. But if workloads start to creep up, if the utilization of some of the key shared system areas start to creep up into either warning or exception areas, that's the kind of thing that you want to be aware of in advance and be able to take some action so that it doesn't turn into some kind of an outage. So let's drill in then to this exception for this particular system. Here we see the red dot. There's red and yellow and green, just red and green on this chart. So we'll zoom in here, and it takes us to a set of mini charts which represent all the metrics on that previous dashboard. So you can see them at one glance and see if there's any particular relationships between the metrics that you want to be aware of. And then here we'll drill in on the specifics. So it's highlighted in red here. This is the ECSA warning, and so the default thresholds are set with a warning at 70% and an exception at 80%, and that can certainly be customized in any environment if you operate in a different manner. But the idea here is to get some kind of an advanced warning when you're. So here are a set of the systems and WLM dashboards, and so let's select the system health one. And again, there are some of those blue dots that represent activity. They're not rated good or bad that Brent mentioned. So in this case, the red exception here is for page-in rate from DASD. So in most cases in today's environments, we don't want to have any of that. And so again, here we see kind of all the mini charts for all the metrics, and we can zoom in on the page-in chart. And so here's that page-in rate, and it's in the exceptions. And then we can drill in also by these metrics up above, so we can drill in by service class to see which service class is generating this activity. And these service classes in this report are scrambled, so they don't make sense, but in your environment they would. And then we could also drill from here into even address space data if I had that loaded in this database. So again, this may not be a concern, but again, IntelliMagic Vision is keeping an eye again on hundreds of metrics across thousands of elements of your infrastructure to identify any potential risks to availability or performance. As we go along here too, I could, any of these reports that we looked at, I could collect them over here on the side, and then got the capability to export those to in any of these formats. In this case, let's say we're going to export it to a PDF. In this case, I just have the one, but I could have been collecting other ones as I went. And then that collects a PDF then that you can forward on in the organization or share in whatever method that you want to.